That's why I said it is not smart. And nikapena example, is it legal to put your feet in water for a year? Yes. There's no law that says you cannot. But is it advisable? No, it's not. The same way I said, while you're recording too, you can replay again if you want. Is it smart to stay in a house that has mold? No. Is it legal? Yes, Diana, it is legal. But it is not advisable because you will get sick. There's no law in any jurisdiction in the United States that says a house that has mold, you have to leave. Asbestos is different. Mold is not, because mold can be mitigated. Asbestos cannot. So, vile nilisema is accurate. Prove it to me that I'm wrong.
I think.
Prove it to me where I said that if you can stay in a house that has mold, it's perfectly fine. I never said that. All I said was the law does not tell you as a person to leave your house because of mold. Now, should you leave your house because of mold? Of course, that will get you sick. Mold will get you sick. Those spores will harm you. So you should not stay in a house that has mold. The same way, you should not stay in a house that has no roof. But there's no law that says if you have no roof, you have to leave the house. It's that simple.
Now, let me respond to you. First of all, I would not be in court if it's okay for you to live in a house with mold. I hope you understand that.
No, it's not okay.
Yeah, so then your opinions are irrelevant.
Well,
and that's what I'm telling you. That's what I was trying to tell you, that you came and say that you can legally stay. Listen, you cannot. Let me tell. No, can I just finish?
I'm just telling you, when you say that.
Can I just finish? Can I just finish?
Go ahead.
Okay. Can I just finish? If mold was not a problem, I would not be in court and talk about habitable issues. If mold was not a problem, then I would just stay.
Hello guys, it's your girl Patience Status. Welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time here, make sure you hit the subscription box and put on the notification bell so that you're not any time I post a new video. Remember, I'm the queen of online gossip. So welcome to today's video. Don't forget to give it a like and leave a comment on the comment section.
To live in a habitable environment. Mold is not habitable. Mold can create illnesses.
He says mold is not habitable. Then he also says you can legally stay in a house with mold. Now, make it make sense. The same person saying you cannot legally, just mute. I need to finish, then you can respond. This is your recording I'm playing. I'm not making up this stuff.
I know.
I'm not making the stuff up.
And other issues. So, if this landlord is evicting you because you refuse to pay rent because of mold and the place being inhabitable, you can actually plead your case and the judge will let you stay while advising you it's not smart to stay. But then...
So how do judges advise you it's not smart to stay? That's not the work of judges.
Jana, you're asking questions, but you don't respond.
Those are not, no, okay, because you're insisting on responding on that particular part, you can respond on that particular part.
So, as vile umesikia kwa recording hapo imesema, nimesema mimi mwenyewe, there is no law. You can pull up the law if you want. There is no law that says if you are in a house that has mold, step out. And that's why I said it is not smart. And nikapena example, is it legal to put your feet in water for a year? Yes. There's no law that says you cannot. But is it advisable? No, it's not. The same way I said, while you're recording too, you can replay again if you want. Is it smart to stay in a house that has mold? No. Is it legal? Yes, Diana, it is legal. But it is not advisable because you will get sick. There's no law in any jurisdiction in the United States that says a house that has mold, you have to leave. Asbestos is different. Mold is not, because mold can be mitigated. Asbestos cannot. So, vile nilisema is accurate. Prove it to me that I'm wrong.
I think.
Prove it to me where I said that if you can stay in a house that has mold, it's perfectly fine. I never said that. All I said was the law does not tell you as a person to leave your house because of mold. Now, should you leave your house because of mold? Of course, that will get you sick. Mold will get you sick. Those spores will harm you. So you should not stay in a house that has mold. The same way, you should not stay in a house that has no roof. But there's no law that says if you have no roof, you have to leave the house. It's that simple.
Now, let me respond to you. First of all, I would not be in court if it's okay for you to live in a house with mold. I hope you understand that.
No, it's not okay.
Yeah, so then your opinions are irrelevant.
Well,
and that's what I'm telling you. That's what I was trying to tell you, that you came and say that you can legally stay. Listen, you cannot. Let me tell. No, can I just finish?
I'm just telling you, when you say that.
Can I just finish? Can I just finish?
Go ahead.
Okay. Can I just finish? If mold was not a problem, I would not be in court and talk about habitable issues. If mold was not a problem, then I would just stay. And if mold was not a problem, then the court would not be asking me to go into a full hearing. Mold is a problem, and that is why I'm going into a full hearing into court.
I agree with you.
Yeah, so the idea of you saying that I can legally, the idea of you saying that I can legally stay in a house with mold, that's bullshit. And then you claiming,
legally you can.
No, you cannot. Okay. Habitability issues include mold, leaking roofs, wiring and issues in the home, plumbing systems and issues in heat and water systems and all of those things. Okay.
Anna, and
you sitting on a platform to claim.
Look, I agree with you on many things.
Okay.
The problem unaona hapa ni legality and what's right.
Listen, it is not legal to live in a home that is not habitable. It's not legal. Then if it is legal, then we will not be going to court. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Living in conditions. Listen, and when you let me tell you, the issue about legality or illegality is done and is based on what the law says according to housing and tenants. Okay, in Pennsylvania, a tenant should not live in a home that has mold, and when mold appears in a home, a tenant reports to the landlord and the landlord does not fix it, then it becomes an issue. It means that the landlord, and that means that a landlord is not respecting that a tenant should live in habitable situations, and therefore the tenant, based on those issues, a tenant has a right to withhold rent and ask the landlord to fix the mold.
And again, I agree with you, and on the same recording, I said that. So
now, you saying that legally, that you are saying it is not smart. Let me tell you, it is you who doesn't understand. It's not about being smart or not smart. It's about me holding a landlord accountable and fixing what I have highlighted and raised through the courts as I am in that home, so that it is clear that this is what I raised and this is what he needs to fix.
I agree with you, Diana, and I said that on the same recording you're playing. Same recording unacheza. I said that. I agree with you on that 100%. But unasahau one thing. Just because you can do something does not make it illegal or legal. The law and what's right and wrong are different. It is wrong for me to slap myself, but it is not illegal. Mimi nikapa nikijislap mtaniambia wacha. But is it against the law? No, it's not. So you staying in a house that has mold.
So you're comparing. So it is not illegal to stay in a house that has mold.
It is not illegal, but it is wrong.
So why is mold an issue? If
it's an issue because it causes health issues.
And then how does that not become a problem?
But that's the thing, Dana.
What is wrong with you?
Look at the difference between legal and right and wrong.
What are you saying?
Saizi Dana, mimi nikikutukana vile nataka kutukana, it is not illegal.
Abu acha kuleta stories awe kunitukana. Tunaongelelea house. Let us talk about the house.
Tofauti ya legal na right and wrong.
What do you mean?
What is right does not make it legal or illegal just because it's right or wrong. It is wrong for me to cut myself, but it's not illegal.
It is illegal for you to cut yourself. That is why there are 302s. You are taken to the hospital. No, it is not legal
because that can be considered.
When you cut yourself on the wrist, it is actually something that the police will make you stay in hospital for. You'll be given
mental issues. Mimi nakwambia there's a difference.
Anybody that slaps themselves or cuts themselves are considered mentally unstable and they cannot make decisions.
You can pinpoint on one argument, but the reality of the issue is there is art. There is art. Unaweza sema I'm cutting myself for art. That is not illegal. Ukisema unajikata because you have a mental issue, then they are required to hold.
Sasa Sialo unasema nini wewe na ujaji unmute Sialo? Sialo unmute.
Sialo unaongea peke yako.
Umemute Sialo.
Jamani, kai.
Naona bado umejaribu sign language.
Ona kabla Siala ongea. I work in the ER in the Northeast. This applies for upstate. No, the upper the Northeast of US, New York and the other places, as well as Canada in some places. But if you want to take your life for whatever reason, as long as you claim you're suicidal, whether it's by you want to kill yourself because your mole is this and that, or, you know, your house has this and that, and you have the capacity to actually execute whatever you're claiming, we will have to take you in by force. It's a legal thing that the police have to take you in. It's not it's an arrest. Let me use that word.
And
unaingishwa kwa hospitali kwa jela because you cannot legally wake up and say I'm suicidal, I'm going to take my life, and as long as you say you're suicidal, CO2 applies.
Ongea Kiswahili kidogo ndio usipate strike for life. Hizo mawazo unatumia pia.
You have to say, and you don't have to say it unajitoa. You don't. The fact that
unajitoa uhai, as long as umetumia kujitoa uhai,
that's different.
The word kujitoa uhai kwa Wakenya wenye wako huko chini wanataka kunitusi baadaye. Ukisema unajitoa uhai, hata wenye wako Europe wenye wanajifanya wanaelewa kila kitu na waelewi chochote. Ukisema unajitoa uhai, you cannot come and say no, I am intending to actually no, I was planning to go jump a bridge, to go walk into traffic. I cannot walk, no, I cannot do this and that. I work in the ED. So, yes, when you say, at some point you're going to use different words. There's no word that's gonna make this situation any different. As long as anything leads to you intending to end your life in one way or the other. Hata kama ni wewe mwenyewe unataka kujitoa uhai, vile unajisikia.
Lakini
vile unajisikia Zamunda, hata kama ni right yako kujitoa uhai, it's not legal.
I know.
It but is not legal.
Siongee kuhusu kujitoa uhai, nimesema.
And that does not only apply to the US. Unfortunately, I worked in Kenya. Even in Kenya, ukisema unataka kujiua, unaingia jela.
Aya, mimi dakika moja. Hata mpatiwa pengine 5 ongea.
Aya, ongea.
Aya, I wanted to talk about the mold issue. First of all, I don't know, mimi si uko America ni penye mko, lakini this is just my opinion. So if you feel that I'm not supposed to talk about this because I'm not in America, that is also your point of view. But my point of view regarding mold, if you realize that your accommodation or an apartment or a house has got mold, depending on how mume agree na landlord wako hivyo. If the landlord is supposed to take care of all the maintenance issues hivyo, then the first step to do ni nini? To inform the landlord in writing. Ukipata nyumba yako ukipata nyumba yako iko na mold, you're not supposed to move out hiyo siku yenyewe hivyo. You're not supposed, you cannot move out just because nyumba yako iko na mold. Kwa sababu
you've actually been having it all along.
Exactly. So, you're not, there's no way, depending on your venye nyinyi mko huko hivi, sisi huko hivi, before you move out, you need to give notice in advance. And then also, inafaa utafute hiyo nyumba. You cannot just wake up and say atuna move out. So ukisha report to your landlord hivo, depending on how severe that mold is, if you have to get out of that apartment ndio ifixiwe, the landlord is supposed to pay for you. If you're moving into the hotel, then the landlord will have to pay for you penye umeenda kukaa hivo. Unaona? So you cannot just wake up usema ati kuna mold hivo. Na landlord akikataa kufix hiyo mold, then you can go ahead and file a case against them. That is what I understand. So nyinyi watu wa kusema ati kama nyumba yako iko na mold unakaaje kwa hiyo nyumba na nini, mbona usihame? Huwezi tu amka asubuhi na unahama kutoka kwa nyumba, hapana. There are rules and regulations. Huku hivi tunaita RERA ya huku hivi. The whatever. The rental management whatever inaitwa RERA huku. So, you cannot just wake up na usema ati unatoka kwa nyumba yako kwa sababu nyumba yako iko na mold. That is what I wanted to say. Because nimeona kwa comment section watu wanasema ati, kwa nini hakuhama na nyumba yake iko na mold? Ati anataka kukaa rent free. Actually, if the landlord is not willing to fix that mold hivo, you can actually end up staying there rent free. Unless agree aje, atafanya nini? Atafix your mold. So that is what I want.
Na wacha ni kuongezea hakuna rent free. Hello. Because nyumba bado unalipa.
Warning hapa. Kwani mnauza nini hapa?
Nyumba bado inalipwa. Si eti unalipa rent free. Nyumba inalipwa.
One second. Before Semeyo, Biggie was on my live like 4 hours ago. I don't know why TikTok is sending me this right now.
Kwani tunauza
so
banki hapa.
Anybody disregard whatever he says about Biggie. Biggie was here 2 hours, 3 hours ago. Anyway, D, go and continue.
Okay, sawa.
Responding to Shiluna, the thing is that's the process that I did. When I noticed there was mold in the house, I did in writing inform the landlord, and I told him in June 2025. And the landlord refused to do anything. Come July, I reported the landlord to the county. And then the county gave him a notice that he needed to fix the mold. He still did not fix it. Then I withheld the rent and started doing the work by myself. And in that process, you're supposed to now inform him and give him the paperwork. When I did, he went to court to decide to now evict me because he thought I don't know the law. Most of the time when you don't know the law, the landlord will threaten you with evictions. Then unaogopa unatoka. So I withheld the rent and I was doing what I needed to do. So when we went to court, he tried to evict me. He was told, no, you cannot evict this woman. You understand? Because what this woman has said is very viable, and I brought paperwork. So now he was told he needed to fix the issues in his home as we continue so that the courts can hear the case about the mold and habitability issues. That's the process. So you don't also stay rent free. Now, at that moment, the courts give you an opportunity to continue paying the rent in the court in something called escrow, so that you don't be in contact with the landlord.
Yeah.
So that when you finish the case and you have a case against the landlord, that money is now then used to settle the disputes between you and the landlord. And then if the landlord was right, he still has his money because you're paying the court. You don't live rent free. That's the process. You understand?
Diana, hiyo kitu kidogo, unajua nimesikia hiyo video recording yako na nikasikia venye umeexplain, and I'm just here scratching my head. I'm really curious to understand where, I mean, Zamunda's point of view, because I don't think he has any footing. I mean, it's just universal. There's some kind of universal principles that as a landlord, and you look at tenant laws across different states in the US, across different countries and continents, it's always the same, that as a tenant, you expect a working, safe house. And the landlord, you know, their duty is to provide that. And so if at any time the landlord is giving you a house that, for example, has mold, which then creates an unsafe environment, a harmful environment for you, and you could get sick, you know, then at that point, there's no any legality issue. It's illegal for the landlord to do that. And so what Diana is describing is what you do. You first raise the issue with the landlord so that he creates some kind of remedy. If he refuses, you can escalate it and report to the local jurisdiction, the city or the county or the state, And then at that point, if he's still not acting, those local jurisdictions can, for example, give him citations. That house can be closed down. So many things could happen. At the same time, the tenant, Diana, has all legal rights to pursue that in a court of law. And that could include, for example, she can, if she's been getting sick now, she has to see a doctor, she's stressed about her and, her people in the house getting sick. She can document all those and sue the landlord for all those damages. So, that's just my thought. I'm trying to understand. And sometimes, if we say things and you later on realize that you are wrong, it doesn't hurt you to just be like, I think my opinion at that time was wrong. And you withdraw it and just move on. We are adults.
And guess what? We actually live in a situation where, for the most part, we are all like, na rent nyumba kwa apartment complex ya mtu. I don't know what the hell is going on in that complex. Like, literally, a few months ago, we moved into an apartment complex, and tukujua, like, we could be having literally a 3-bedroom, a loft in a place, and the next door neighbors do have a 1-bedroom apartment. Mtu anapiga kelele venye anajisikia na bedroom yenu iko kwa next to that person's main house. That's the only house they have. Atapiga kelele, ukienda kumgongea mlango anaamua kusema, hey, lo and behold, I pay rent and I'm literally, I pay rent. Hakuna kenye mtafanya. Na niishi hapa na mimi natakwambia mimi ni askari and you can't do shit.
Unajua muongea sana, sijapata time ya kurespond. So nikitumia example kama hiyo yako, there is something called noise ordinance. Noise ordinance and laws are different things. Naona muelewi tofauti ya vitu mingi sana nimesema.
Si ati tuelewi, I was explaining us from a different angle.
That's causing a lot of confusion sana. Kama sasa nimetumia example ya kujikata, mkazusha mkakuwa suicide nini? Mnajua kuna tribes in Kenya tunakata uso alama 3 for beauty. That's not legal. Right? Kuna tribe in Sudan wanakata mdomo wanaingiza mbao. Kuna tribes wanafanya a lot of things za body mutilation as a ritual.
Zamunda, do you understand that? No, Zamunda, hold on before you continue. Do you understand that hapa US kuna watu watakuja ED wa check in na nikiwa triage mtu anasema I am suicidal.
Yes, I understand that part. Kuna suicidal.
Yes, let's leave it at that. Wachana na za Kenya.
Ngoja, hata hapa US kuna wenye wanakata mapua, masikio, ulimi, midomo. They do all those because of art.
Because they want what?
Self-expression. Because of
Zamunda, when it is art,
so
when it is art, it is
okay. That's why I was making a difference. Ngoja niland sialo. And that's why I was telling nilitumia hiyo as an example to make a difference. Ndio uelewe nyinyi wote mko hapa. Muelewe there's a difference between what is legal
na kupenda lakini
right and wrong. Mona, hiyo tu. That's the only difference. Mwelewe what's legal and what is right and wrong. Mimi nyumba ikiwa na mold, nyinyi wenyewe mmesema saa hizi tu kwa hii live usitoke immediately. Na ndio I said it is perfectly legal to stay in a house with mold. Na nyinyi wenyewe mmeagree, na nyinyi saa hizi mkiongea tu hapa nimenyamaza tu nikichukua notes. Mmesema nyumba ikiwa na mold usitoke. Kwa nini utoki? Is it against the law? No. And that was the difference I was making. Now, none of you, not a single person, alielewa. Until mumejiexplainia wenyewe, ndio sasa mumeelewa.
I did not understand yet.
Let me repeat.
And that's
I'll repeat
not
slowly.
true what he's saying.
Exactly. It's not legal to stay now.
I did not understand.
Okay. Let me repeat. I will repeat very slowly. Muniambie pale munakosa kuelewa. Saa hizi Sialo, nyumba yako ikiwa na mold, will you pack your things and leave? Answer my question.
I don't have mold, but if I had mold, yes, definitely.
Wacha nijibu za Munda. Wacha nijibu za Munda. The same way nilikuwa nimejibu. Nilisema kama nyumba yako iko na mold, depending on the severity of, kama hiyo ni jina ya kizungu, severity of that mold hivyo. Sikiza. Kama nyumba yako iko na mold, the first thing you do, depending on your agreement na landlord wako, kama ana take care of maintenance whatever hivyo, and also depending on the severity of the mold issue. The first thing you're supposed to do is to report it to your landlord.
But do you leave the house?
Sikiza nimalize.
Zamunda, let me use this example.
What's a land?
Beginning of winter, my doorway had a leakage. When winter just started, kuna snow, there was a leakage in my house. At the entrance, kwa mlango tu hapo. Immediately, okay, no, not even immediately. Like the same time, I literally sent a message the same day. Cause Beva alikuwa job, nilikuwa job, mimi nilikuwa job the other side, 2 hours away. He was home. Akasema, hey, kuna leak kwa nyumba. We sent the message to the landlord. Tukamwambia, hey, there's a leakage in the house. The same day. Didn't take 24 hours. Didn't take 24 hours of us telling the person there's water leaking into our house.
The Supreme Court said that your country's not safe. Is it safe?
We need you to take action. Like, we didn't even need to say it. We need you to take action. We literally just said there's water leaking into our house. That's it. Did they take action? Yes, they did. Did they send people? Yes, they did. Did we do anything? No. All we need to do is keep quiet. We recorded everything. We sent pictures to them. They had recordings of what we sent. They know that we recorded what we sent. Did they take action? Did they fix the problem? Yes, they did within 2 weeks.
Cielo, I think you veered away from what I was trying to say.
No, I'm trying to understand your explanation of everything.
Well, let me explain my
Yes, kunaweza kuwa na issue, but by the end of it all, the person.
Kitu ya kwanza, let's differentiate. Hujapewa nyumba iko na mold, umekaa kwa hii nyumba and then mold appeared. So we are taking the situation whereby you are
Zamunda, hakuna vile utarend nyumba inakwambia uko na mold.
Najua
Cielo, let him make his
it happens
let
when
him make his point, and I think I get him, and even I understand what he's going to say, but it's still not right. So his argument, anasema ati ukiingia kwa nyumba, right?
Yeah.
Ulipata nyumba ina mold, umeishi kwa hiyo nyumba let's say for 1 year, alafu ikaanza kukua na mold. So now he's trying to argue that unaweza kaa kwa hiyo nyumba and it is legal, right?
Yes.
However, this is on the flip side.
It's not smart, but it's legal.
Yes.
But
on the flip side, this is how it becomes illegal, Zamunda. This is where the illegality comes in. The moment you as a tenant notify the landlord kwamba hii nyumba iko na mold, right? There's different laws, very clear, that there's a procedure that, number one, let the landlord know that kuna mold kwa hii nyumba. Akishajua kuna mold, the law requires him to fix it.
Yes.
So landlord anafaa kuja asort story ya hiyo mold.
Correct.
The moment he refuses to fix it, yes, unaweza kuwa bado unaishi kwa hiyo nyumba, because you also can't just wake up umeambia landlord ati kuna mold na uhame.
But
however, it is illegal.
Ni kweli. No, yes. Thank you.
And the longer it takes before the landlord fixes it, the more severe it becomes. Because now, for example,
correct,
inaweza kuwa sasa kama ulikuwa na allergies zimewasen, you know, or now you're starting to develop respiratory issues.
Yes.
So that legality question depends on which side or which lenses you're using to look at it.
And that's why I made that statement.
Are we gonna sit down and wait until when you have respiratory issues?
That's why I said it is not smart to do that. It's not smart to stay in a house that has mold. But you are not breaking the law by staying in your house. Otherwise, you'd be arrested by the police. You're breaking the law.
Guys,
The law, when you
something.
break the law, the police arrest you when you break a law. Simple. You staying in your house that has mold and you're pleading with your landlord. You are withholding rent. You have a case ongoing. You are not
Depends with
breaking
the
a single
circumstances.
law.
Zamunda, wacha Daisy aongee. Daisy ako wapi alikuwa anataka kuongea? Kwa nini mangusha Daisy?
Oh, Lord, Daisy. Daisy.
Yeah, wacha Daisy aongee. It depends. Daisy aongea.
What you could drop is not personal, and this has nothing to do with sites. But when you're signing a lease agreement is a standard agreement that can be used in any country. It is not about watu wenye wako Kenya, watu wenye wako US, because when even expatriates come to Kenya, they are subjected to the same kind of contracts, right? And any landlord can decide, right, to what to be put in a contract and what not to be put in a contract. But let's speak about standard contracts. There is a tenant's responsibilities, there is a landlord's responsibilities, and there is a joint responsibility. Now,
Daisy,
part of the responsibility,
Daisy, ngoja, kuna kitu umesema the landlords can decide what to put in the contract and what not to put. No, the landlords can only decide what to put in the addendum, but whatever is in the contract. Yeah, whatever that is in the contract, it needs to be according to the whatever that governs your rent.
Hold on. Before Daisy responds, Daisy, Shiluna owns a few apartment complexes in Dubai. Hold on, Zamunda. In Dubai, that she actually rents out to people. So there is actually
I do
information she knows for that end of the world.
Yes, and that's what I'm telling you is the same thing. Whatever Shiluna does, I think we follow each other because of maybe that nature. Is the same thing we do here. And part of what I do is that I rent out to furnished apartments to expatriates, especially expatriates with bigger budgets. We're talking about over $4,000 over all those kind of stuff, right? So you're subjected to proper contracts. And when I said that a landlord can write anything in a contract too, they can write. But what happens is that it depends with the level of negotiation. There's something called lease negotiations, where a landlord can give whatever they want to the tenant. And then the tenant, given the fact that if you have a lawyer or you don't have a lawyer, you can look at the terms of the contract, right? Or the clauses that have been provided and decide that I'm not comfortable with this clause. I'm not comfortable with this clause. Take it back to the landlord, and then you come up with a contract that both parties are comfortable and agreeing to sign. So that is something I need to clarify what she was asking. So it is dependent. Na kuna watu wengine, they don't negotiate leases, they just present leases the way they are, and unajua landlord wana nini, and that can be very detrimental for you if you're signing contracts that you're not happy with or both parties have not agreed with, because in the future brings a bit of issues, like legal issues. But anyway, what I needed to explain when I was coming up, I wanted to explain the part of the landlord's responsibilities and the tenant's responsibilities. First of all, you cannot stay in a house that has mold and you're aware of them. It's illegal because it could be a structural issues that could lead to damages and even spending, right? Even spending part of the landlord's insurance. You understand? So instead of you being held liable of that, you're supposed to report anytime there is something with the house that could cause issues in the future, including even infestation of bees, infestation of ants, all those things. Anything that it will make the house not livable, it is a tenant's responsibility to report. If you do not report, you're going to be held liable for that. And in this particular case, let me use the case of Diana, if she presented those things that maybe she has stayed there for some time and then she has realized within time that, hey, Niaje, all these things that are coming up, mold, leakages and everything else, and submits to the owner of the property who does not do anything about it, and the issues continue to an extent of either causing health issues or causing other issues that would require insurance to be involved, then I think she's on the right side. Number two, it's a landlord's covenant. Under the landlord's covenant, right? Majority of the time, the covenants usually have to keep. Let me read an example of a contract that I have here. Is to keep the roofing, right? To keep the roof, ceiling, main walls, and main structures of the building forming part of the premises and electrical apparatus comprised in and forming part of the electrical circuit. So just to fika hapo, it means that if there is any leakage, especially if there is any mold, just know there's issues with water. So that can also lead to electrical issues. So in this particular case, if the kind of contracts that that Diana has includes that part of this responsibility, there are many, I can read all of them, but if it means that it will endanger her life in any form, not just health-wise, but also also about the property in terms of causing more serious issues like fire, damages, and all that kind of stuff, honestly, the landlord is usually held liable. And when you go to court, even when people are doing the insurance thing, they usually go to the cause of the issue that was there. And then there's also the part of fair wear and tear, right? If the fair wear and tear, all these things are within what was agreed with the owner of the property to be taking care of the normal wear and tear. Some of this normal wear and tear goes all the way to how many years the building has been. So it could be something that has been building over time. So when you go to court, you go back to the contracts that you signed. If the landlord has not taken, heed to the fact that you reported as your legal obligation in the contract, then there is a problem.
Daisy, when I noticed the problems with the house, the leakage, the roofing, the everything, this house has major structural issues. When I noticed the problem, I informed the landlord in writing. I called him, I emailed him, I texted him in writing, and I told him to come and check out the stuff. He did not. He was ignoring these things for several months as I continued paying rent. In the month of June, when it was too much, I decided to report him to the county council. And when I did that, the county council came to inspect my house and they notified him. When he received that notice about him being reported to the council, he then went to court to try to evict me. That is what he did. So based on those facts, when he tried to evict me, when we went to court for the eviction hearing, he was told he cannot evict me. When he first went to court, of course, when you file for an eviction notice can be issued to me, and then I can go to court and challenge why I cannot be evicted. And I presented everything plus the paperwork that was from the county, and he was told he cannot evict me and that I have the right to withhold the rent. And then the judge said I should now not put the rent in my hands, I should bring it to court, and he should fix the issues that are in the property. That is what happened. So even as these people are making arguments, are talking here, the rent is still being paid in escrow. And the landlord only actually even came and showed up here once or twice with contractors. He's trying to fix one or two things. You understand? So now I have an opportunity to present the issues that are in this house in court, at the appeals court. And now all the evidences that I have, I need to present them so that now a decision can be made. We haven't even reached that part. But everyone on TikTok is suddenly having an opinion. Oh, she's being evicted. She needs to move. I can't wait to see her homeless. Guys,
do you know what is funny? Is the fact that no offense to anybody.
They know you are paying to go to court.
They don't they don't even have no fucking idea that we have not even started the hearing for this whole thing.
But alafu unajua kitu funny, Rateng, the funny thing is, I did not know when I was very new in New York. Nyumba yenye nilikuwa, it was winter when I came in. But the first few months, not even the first few months, the first week, hata kufunga tu dirisha ilikuwa issue, because by the end of it all, kufunga dirisha I didn't know there was an issue until I was actually getting breathless and coughing the whole night because I'm asthmatic. Asthma made me realize there was an issue in the house. Because the fact that nikifunga dirisha, nisipofungua any of my ventilations the whole day during winter, not even just one day, made me so breathless the whole night. I would literally be coughing the whole night for no reason. And when I go to shower, when I use my showers and all that, there was mold forming on my bathtub. Not my bathtub. I used to use my bathtub a lot, but my bathroom, the whole of my bathroom used to have mold. That's the first house I had. Forgive me, I'm chewing. Anyway, the first house I used to have.
I have a question for Diana. Diana, like, whatever contract that you signed, is there a place where you are at some point allowed to make repairs in lieu of rent, or maybe there isn't any kind of stuff? Because sometimes people would.
In the lease, the lease, there is no place where I'm allowed to make repairs, but there is a place where he asks me to notify when there are issues in the home. And that means that he's supposed to come and repair them. And by law, in the state of Pennsylvania, I'm required and allowed by law to actually withhold rent in the state of Pennsylvania when you have notified a landlord about issues and they are not doing anything about it. Now,
same thing applies to New York. If you see mold that we are not told about, by the way, most people don't know about this. The only thing I'm actually speaking is because we are actually creating awareness with this live right now.
And that's why I even agreed to have this discussion, because I was like, this is bullshit. I don't need to keep on explaining these things to people.
Yeah, but
the ignorance on this platform.
The Kenyans that come here and they have no idea what the fuck is going on in this country right now. Or before. Because mimi nikikuja hapa sikuwa najua hizi vitu zote. When I came, the truth of the matter is, I did not know that by the end of it all, my explanation of something or my experience on a situation didn't actually make sense to anybody else. And I did not know that what I was going through was normal thing, was something that was happening in the whole of the US or somewhere else in the US. But I didn't know that having mold build up in my house when I'm showering, like me, I took it like it's the moist and me not opening the windows enough times, because I assumed it was me not opening the windows enough times that caused it.
Hey, Cielo.
Let me tell you something, and let me say something also on response to that. If I did not know the law or did not read my lease, I would have panicked when this guy went to court to evict me. I would have just quickly, panicked and everything. But the time when he started not listening to what I was saying, I decided, because me, I'm not a contractor. You need to find the county to give you people to come and do what? And actually inspect the house, so you have a report that is acceptable in court. You have to do that. Then you have to get a roofer, you have to get a mold expert to give you all these reports so that you document them. You take pictures and everything. Every conversation you had with this person, you need to document it. That is when you can withhold. So this guy, when we went to court for the eviction, and then he was the judge was like, now I want to listen to what this lady is saying. He was kind of shocked because he didn't believe I had done all that stuff. He was a bit like, okay, he went aback. He was like, okay, what's going on? And even up to now, he has the right to still try to evict me. He can also try to remove me or try and ask for a judgment. He has a right to do so, because in court you can use any opening of the law to try and get whatever you want to get. He's allowed to do so. But do you know what
the funny thing is? What many people on the ground don't understand is Kenya mwenye yako nyumbani is the same thing as a US citizen mwenye yako hapa hivi. Atatumia any shady way to fuck you up. It doesn't matter whether you pay rent or not. Kenya atatumia against you is their own business. Whether you're a diligent payer, whether you're a diligent citizen or not, they will actually fuck you up if they want to.
And I think it's important for people to also know this. And I mean, I had Daisy's argument, and I think she's partly right. I mean, we sign contracts all the time. The difference between America and so many other countries is that America is a well-regulated country, And there's governments here that actually care and are for the people. So for example, Diana might have signed a contract with the landlord. We might not know the details of that contract, but the state that she is in, or the county or the city, has their own laws that make sure that regardless of which contract you sign, you cannot give me or have me live in a house that has mold. You have to fix it. So there's so many laws that are in place to protect the tenants. And I think this is one of those examples. So as a landlord, anytime you're giving a tenant a contract, you always want to make sure that your contract is in alignment with those laws. And they're just basic.
And then by the way, before I give Deja the mic, there is a lot of ignorance on this platform. You see people being like, oh, winning a case against a landlord is very hard. Oh, bullshit. If you have everything and your facts on the table, my friend, you can pursue legal reprieve or legal action against anybody in this country. It does not mean there's anything that is hard, my friend. If you know your rights and you know what you need to do, go for it. Okay.
And you know what, Diana? Actually, right now he's still dealing with, I feel like the way I'm hearing the case, you have not even countersued yet. I mean, because you could be getting affected by this mold, and the longer it stays, I mean, I don't know how you're feeling right now. Maybe you're getting more respiratory problems.
We are just beginning. We've only just but begun,
Yeah. And you could actually sue them, and I believe they have liability insurance. I mean, any damages that you incur or things that affect your health, they will be criminally and civilly liable.
Yes, and another thing, I can move out of this house even now if I get a house. And that does not mean that I can stop suing this man. No, I will still continue with the case even when I move out. Okay.
Diana. Hey, Diana.
Yeah. Hi.
Hey, Deja.
Hey, Mambo, nice to meet you. Hey, Cielo, nice to meet you again. Pia mimi. Yo, sina mingi ya kusema. Na valid the point, say, ina juna kaa kwa place iko na mold at the end of the day. We pack and go.
When are you coming home, by the way? On a serious note.
I'm gonna surprise you this year.
Arizona, you guys are experiencing the winter storm. Which is not even a storm. Which is not even a storm.
It's desert. How?
Come on.
But anyway, salamu tu, sina mengi ya kusema. Let's continue conversation. Atenda drop tu hapa chini, lakini salamu tu mzee. Salamu nakumiss.
Jibambe, I miss you too. I'm gonna.
To talk behind the scene.
Sawa.
So hello everybody.
Hi Toge.
Hello. I purposely came to contribute to the topic because at a point I was getting irritated because of Zamunda's argument. Anyway, he's entitled to his opinions. But I believe in the US we have something called the warranty and habitability law, whereby the landlord, despite the landlord having a contract with you, like a separate contract which entails what you've agreed on, there is what that the law says and states. It all depends with the different kind of states you are in. And the general law quotes it that any landlord is supposed to be open about the how safe is the house. That is in terms of the toxic things that might be in the house, the molds in the house. So the landlord to Diana is entitled to have told her that this house is so and so. And despite the fact that Diana might have lived there without molds, and then comes the issue of molds. Molds are associated with different kind of things. Could be that her house has ventilation issues, drainage issues, and Diana, uko na right ya withhold the rent. That is what it is legally stated. So Zamunda, it's not a matter of it is legal to stay in a molded house. Of course it's not legal, because there's a law that governs that and openly states that it is illegal to stay. But if the landlord does not want to compensate you, what do? You have an option of withholding the rent. You have an option of terminating the contract, but that comes with compensation. You cannot just terminate a contract, yet your health has been at stake for the whole time. 2, you have an option to repair and deduct the cost, and the cost might be really high that the landlord will not accept it. So what Diana has done is absolutely and legally correct. So I don't get it when Zamunda says it's legally correct to stay in a molded house. Your health is at stake. Those are toxic, Zamunda.
So let me respond to you. Tugis, first of all, my good friend, hopefully your New Year is going well. Secondly, I think you're still lost in translation. I clearly said there is not a single law, and that's why I say in the comment section, show me the law that says it is illegal to live in a house that has mold. That's it.
Yeah, go and read. Go and read the warranty and habilitation.
Show me.
No,
bring it.
Yeah, that's why I'm referring you to go and read.
No, bring it. I'm not going to read something that I know you're not understanding.
How do I bring it? That's why I'm telling you to go and read it, because
just take a screenshot.
That shows you've not read the housing laws.
Okay,
it's a law.
Bring it.
And law defines what's legal and illegal.
Okay,
period.
Take a screenshot. Bring on the green screen. It's that simple.
I'm telling you to go read about it.
No. You're not just going to tell me to go read, because
that the houses. Why don't you want to read?
If that's the case, how many people have been arrested for breaking that law?
The second thing you've asked of us to show you a case of where...
Respond to me. How many people have been arrested for breaking that law?
And I gave you a clear example of the 2005, and that is what pushed me to reading the housing laws.
You're mentioning about BBC.
There was one family. Yeah, that was all over BBC News.
Okay.
There was one family who was compensated $22 million.
Okay, I do not know how the law works in the UK. Listen, I do not know
that same law to this. Let me just say something.
Is different, okay?
Let me respond
I'm talking about the US. I'm not talking about the German Stockluft.
Let me respond to Zamunda. Let me respond to him. Let me respond to him because I am here in the US and it is my issue, and I'm in Pennsylvania by the laws of Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, the law requires a landlord to provide habitability environments that are habitable. One of the biggest issues in Pennsylvania is mold, and by law a landlord is required to ensure their house is mold free. A tenant can stay in a house that has mold and it is not legal. That tenant has the right to now pursue legal pathways to get reprieve for being in an inhabitable situation. I hope that answers you. You can find yourself living in a house that has mold. That does not mean it is right or it is okay. It is not. And it is for those reasons that you are now able to sue. So now I don't know what your argument is about, because
I'm trying to tell you,
if it was okay for people to live in houses with mold, then mold would not be a habitability issue in Pennsylvania. It will not be implied in a warranty of habitability in Pennsylvania. Okay.
Then I think Zamunda's, I really like his perspective. He's very misguided. but I don't know whether it is intentional or not, because again it depends on where you start.
And again, right? By the way, Paula, let me say this: the idea of people saying that no tenant has been arrested for staying in a house with mold, that's a very dumb, fucked up, stupid argument.
Exactly.
You cannot say ati tenant have not been arrested because they're staying in a low. It is not their responsibility. Let me just say this something. It's not their responsibility. It is not their responsibility. Let me just say it's not their responsibility. It's not the responsibility of a tenant to make sure they don't have mold. It is the responsibility of a landlord. Actually, the opposite can happen. A landlord can be held responsible. A landlord is the one that should be held responsible for issues about habitability, not the tenant.
Let me just bring evidence while you guys are refusing to bring evidence.
It's of a case of yours or my case. Because this is my case.
Okay. Let me see.
Can I finish my point to Zamunda?
Do you know about the state ordinance law?
Just put me on the big screen.
Do you know about the state ordinance law your landlord is supposed to disclose everything about the house?
That is
if there's poor ventilation, if there are leakages, if there have been previous leakages in the house, he's supposed...
Yeah. It's different from what I'm trying to explain, because clearly none of you are smart enough to understand what I'm trying to explain. So I'm gonna
don't even use that statement. Smart enough. Fuck you.
Because you're contradicting yourself.
No. We can take a lot of things.
Niweke big screen Cielo.
We can take a lot of things and don't use the smart enough part.
Yeah, niweke big screen.
Don't do that shit. Don't do that shit.
Niweke big screen saizi.
Mbona hiki inakata? Goja D, wacha nione kama wacha nione. Hold on Zamunda.
Oh my God.
Until I actually pick this up. I don't know how to move these things because it's
So Cielo, while you're still working on the big screen.
While you're working on the big screen, I'll give you a case that happened in Pennsylvania, in Tobyhanna, Pennsylvania, where a landlord had to pay a tenant $150,000 in damages for mold. Sawa. Now tufungue ndio iko hapa hiyo case. Ndio yako.
Mimi nasema tu niweke big screen ni explain clear na explain ni nyamaze kwa sababu none of you understanding what I'm trying to say.
You're an asshole for that shit.
Ndio hapa. Go and read the cases where mold has actually been taken to court and mold has been.
Mbona siwezi expand live yangu?
Sijui kwa nini.
I also told him to read about the Gorman family.
Hold on, guys.
You know, I was going to ask him a very interesting question, but his argument is neither here nor there.
Clearly,
Zamunda, your arguments are scattered.
Zamunda, you know, houses can be condemned, right?
Yes.
The city or the county can come and go. Like Diana, we are sending our health department official to come and look at the house, and then they can write a report and say, nope, this house is not legally safe for anyone to live in, and this house is condemned. And at that point, Diana or anybody who tries to live in that house will be arrested. Right? Because now the house has been condemned.
When the house has been condemned.
Do you also know that a landlord is legally required? A landlord is legally required to provide a house that does not have mold. And therefore, them giving Diana a house that has mold is actually an illegality. Okay. That is why she's winning in court.
Diana was never given a house with mold. That's
why she's winning in court.
Do you live in this house? Do you live in this house?
Okay,
but
maybe
again, Zamunda. But
do you know the issues in this court?
Diana's landlord
if that's the case,
are you just talking because you want to talk? Do you know the history of this house?
I'm wrong on that.
No, do you know the history of this house?
So I want you to read if it's illegal in the state of Pennsylvania where you live. There you are.
What's your question about? What is your legality and illegality question?
There are no legal things that
in Pennsylvania, no specific statute makes it illegal to stay in a household with mold. That was my point the entire time. Now, when you come to implied,
no, read the whole thing.
Read the whole thing.
Don't read
that whole thing. Expand. Expand.
Nimeexpandiwa the most.
Okay, the implied. Continue.
So, but the implied warranty of habitability requires landlords to maintain safe, livable conditions, which include fixing mold that poses health risks. And that's why I said,
thank you.
one sentence. Be aware does it make it illegal?
I told you to go and read about it, Zamunda. You said you can't read. Now you wouldn't be arguing with the
I need to respond to something. I need to respond.
You want to be right. I can tell you right. You want to be right.
This is embarrassing.
There is not a single law that makes it illegal. Inasema it clearly.
Is there a law that makes it
not a single law, but we have one housing law, the warranty law, and I told you to go and read about the housing law. But you don't want to read.
Ngoja tunakupatia.
That's not a law.
Wacha tupatie Siala alafu uniweke big
housing law, Zamunda. That's a housing law.
This is embarrassing, actually.
And this is embarrassing as much as you want. It does not.
This is embarrassing.
Not a single law in the state of Pennsylvania that makes it illegal. Simple as that. There's not a single law in Pennsylvania that says it is illegal for a tenant to stay in a house.
But
I've said that. No. Ngoja. Let me land. There is not a single law that makes it illegal for a tenant to stay in a house with mold. At the same time, Kama unataka kusema anaitwaje, landlord can provide a place that's inhabitable, we all know, all of us know that's wrong. Landlord is paying nyumba ina mlango, landlord is paying nyumba ina roof, and I used the roof as an example earlier. So
Zamunda, what are you saying? That the landlord cannot give you a house that is not...
yourself.
The landlord can choose not to disclose and go against the state ordinance law that makes him disclose about the house the previous years. He can choose to refine that, and that's why we have a law that governs houses. That if he goes against it, then at the long last, he'll come to face the law, period.
Yes, there are laws that govern housing and rent and all that stuff. My point has been the same the entire life. There is not a single law that says you as a tenant cannot stay in a house with mold.
You know why tenants stay in houses with molds? Because one,
there are a lot of reasons.
They're waiting for repairs.
I don't need the reasons.
Two,
I don't need the reasons. I know a lot of reasons.
They actually threaten sometimes.
Three,
there are a lot of
they
reasons.
want to terminate and get compensation, which is right.
Yes,
because
there are a lot of
they
reasons.
are held has
Jamani, oneni, mnapingania kitu ambacho ni wazi. The law doesn't have to state that someone cannot stay kwa nyumba yenye iko na mold. That is why hizo mold zina fall under nini? Inhabitable circumstances. Na hiyo iishe. Jamani.
Wakati mtaelewa your point.
Can we move on?
Yeah, I'll be happy. We can move on. I'm not married to that topic.
Karina and Dula. Since you're zooming, Dula.
Let me step down because I was just coming to notify Zamunda about that. Thank you.
Your opinion is well received.
No problem, babe.
For sharing.
Karina.
So in 1979, Zamunda I like quoting the law sometimes. So in 1979, the state of Pennsylvania, the Supreme Court in Pennsylvania, ruled that landlords renting residential real estate have a legal duty, meaning it is mandatory. They have a legal duty to provide their tenants a living space that is safe, sanitary, and reasonably comfortable.
That is 100% true.
Very clear. So anything else that contravenes that is illegal.
No. That's where the confusion is coming from. That's exactly where the I'll use an easy example.
Soma again.
Ngoja with a very simple example that will make
regardless of what might appear.
Kidogo tu. So let me tell you. Right now, the law provides people rights to do XYZ. If you as a person does not do XYZ, there is no law that requires you to do XYZ as a recipient of that law.
But let me ask Zamunda, in this situation, why do you assume that somebody did not do XYZ?
That's a problem, Cialo. There is a clear misunderstanding of my statement whereby people are misconstruing that statement to fit their narrative. My clear statement was simple. Just because you are in a house with mold, you are not breaking the law by living there. Your landlord, on the other hand, if they do not provide you a habitable place, they could be breaking other things, laws, ordinances, or agreements per businesses and, county and cities. And that's why I made it very clear. Diana was not breaking the law by staying there. She was not. The landlord, on the other hand, if he requires Diana to pay rent and still the place is inhabitable, he is the one breaking the law. And that's what I told you. Hakuna mtu hata mmoja amekuwa arrested kwa kuishi kwa nyumba iko na mold. But many landlords have lost their houses, have lost their licenses. Na sialo kichekesha tutakusana. Not a single landlord in dunia. Sialo nasikia? Not a single landlord in dunia ata provide something bad. Nasikia? But wewe sialo sahizi. Landlord wako akikupea nyumba haina mlango, yeye anavunja sheria. Wewe ukikaa kwa hiyo nyumba na haina mlango, wewe hauvunji sheria. Unaelewa? Umenielewa?
First of all, let me
I
just
like
say
when you
that
twist your story.
the issue of
Small example. So mlango na mold is similar may not be identical.
Let me just say this, by the way, and I'm saying this out. It's good for people to read. Jameni wa Kenya tusome, tuelewe the law. First of all, the idea of arrest is so irrelevant on this issue. These are civil issues. There is no place where a tenant is going to be arrested. There is nothing like that. Hakuna. Hizi stories, the arrests they cannot happen. The only time you can be, the only time you can be arrested is when you have gone to live in a place that has been condemned or has been deemed not, by the government itself. Yani, huwezi enda una trespass. Unasikia? So una trespass, unaenda kwa place yenye koti yenyewe imeshasema nini, imesema huwezi ukaenda hapo. Unasikia? Housing issues are civil, there is nothing about being arrested. Kitu kama hiyo. So unaona? So hizi stories za kusema ati sijui mtu ati anaweza kushikwa sijui afanywe nini, that's bullshit, man. Those things don't work. Okay, now let me just say this because I'm exhausted about going back and forth.
I said it's civil.
Let me just say this. No,
you just agreed with me again.
Wacha nimalize na niseme kitu. Niseme kitu.
But when you say something, before you say something, this is relevant. I am just trying to help you guys. Magazeti show and your crew and the motherfuckers who are actually making point in your comment section. Y'all need to respect my girl Shiluna. She is actually in Dubai, and you motherfuckers are paying rent to her. So before you actually make comments that are irrelevant on your comment section, fuck y'all.
Unaonaje hizo comment sections za live zingine sio?
I'm so sorry, nimetumiwa.
Oh, okay. Nikafikiri unaenda kwa live.
So guess what? Mtu yote mwenye anakuwa amerecord kwa comment section yangu, I can see it because people send me that shit. I don't need to struggle so much.
Okay, so now she's not supposed to have an opinion.
Apparently she's not supposed to have an opinion because
everyone
she's
is entitled.
Guess what? She's a mere Airbnb host. She hosts a million houses in Dubai. In that
million houses.
She does not have a million, but she was a mere ton of houses.
Now watu wenye wanasema ni mia au wako na nini?
Hata na shanga. Wako comment section wa Kenya matope. Meanwhile, Shiluna is actually getting
Ona, huyo mwenye amenitumia pia. So apparently there's this person called Karina or Karena ama nini. Anasema ati na sijui mwingine anaitwa T9 ama T9 ama T9. Ati mimi ni caretaker wa.
But no offense, but let me use this word. Anaitwa nani? Ngoja one second. What is his name?
In a short break as you guys are loading your comments.
No, Dula. Sikusahau kwa it was not intentional. I actually had forgotten. Dula, tame your motherfucking dogs in your comment section. Tame those dogs. They're just dogs. Anyway, twende lady.
Umeanza kutukanana tena.
Hakuna kitu anaweza niambia. Mtu unaweza kaa chini utukane Shiluna.
Lakini
in my face you are a fucking dog. There is nothing you can tell me.
Mimi ningesema hivi. Kila mtu ako allowed kuwa na opinion.
Not those assholes. No,
kuna opinion la matusi.
Zamunda, I know you fuck you.
Wewe unabwana hebu koma. Anyway, so kila mtu akuwe na opinion yake. It's okay, just be respectful.
Dula, tame your dogs. That's what I'm gonna say. Tame your dogs.
Okay.
Diana, continue.
Dogs.
Because I don't want to go back and forth about this issue. I've taken my landlord to court. I have every right to do so. I have every right to withhold rent.
True.
He has every right to seek whatever remedies he wants to seek. And I have every right to challenge those remedies legally by law.
True.
I'm required to do so. Now, anybody who feels anakerwa sana na issue yangu ya rent, wanaweza wakaambia baba zao wanirentie nyumba nikaende nikaishi huko. Sawa? This is my fucking business. It's my fucking issue. I didn't ask anybody on TikTok kuja kunichangia rent. I've been paying my rent $1,900, which I think most of you can't even afford in your lifetime. And I'm the one who withheld that rent. Sawa? Mimi kama Diana Ross. So whoever feels that they are aggrieved by me going to court or being taken to court for rent, go talk to your fathers, ask them to come and rent a home for me so that I can live in. Otherwise, follow this case so that you can learn a bit of few things about the laws in the US between tenants and landlords. So, and I am confidently going to court because I know and understand the law. Na hiyo kitu mnangoja, nasikia mliniwekea vikao jana na juzi ati mnasema you cannot wait for me to be homeless. I would never the fuck be homeless in America. Let me just make that clear. If I ever get to be homeless in America, it means every freaking fucking friend of mine that is on this platform is dead.
No offense. Even if you were dead, kuna kitu inaitwa taxes yenye tunalipa. It will never let you be homeless.
Nikuwe homeless America kwa sababu wajinga wametoka platform. Wanangoja nikuwe homeless. Stupid people.
Ni kama watu wanasahau section 8 na exist. Whether we pay taxes or not, it will be there.
Mi hata si wa section 8. Walienda huko wakaenda kukimbia huko kuangalia. I'm not even in section 8 because my earnings are way more for me to even qualify for section 8. That's why I'm not on section 8. Ningekuwa kwa section 8 if I'm making less than 25,000. I can't even qualify for section 8 because I earn way more.
Mimi nayo nikichoka kulipa rent naenda kwa Rateng.
Karibu, nitaka kujengea Simba.
I'm coming to your main house. I don't want a Simba.
Imagine Duanzi mwenye anakuongelelea juu ya rent. Wewe unalipa rent 240,000 Kenya shillings na yeye analipa rent 15,000. Hapo kwa platform anakuongelelea juu ya rent yako yenye unalipa 250k per month na yeye analipa 15k Kayole ama Kariobangi.
Nilikuwa nataka kusemaje, lakini tusirudi huko nyuma. Nilikuwa na hii correction. Kuna watu walikuwa wanasema ati kwa nini landlord akupatie nyumba kama iko na mold hivyo? Aya. Sometimes you're not even given that house ikiwa na mold. Mold is something that can form due to probably a leakage kwa nyumba ama due to hiyo area yenye mko, environment penye kuko hivyo. It can happen kama unaishi kwa hiyo nyumba hivyo. Unaona? So it's
so basically something that happens while you are there and
while you are there.
Was there
in some circumstances unaweza pewa nyumba na hii ishaanza kuform and you do not know. Sisi huku kama uko na mold kwa nyumba, you can smell it through the AC. Unaona? When the AC blows, mold smells. You can smell that. So it's not necessarily that at landlord amekupatia nyumba kama iko na mold and then kuna kitu.
Let's move to the third thing he was lying about.
And I am confident enough to say there will be no round 4. So whatever happens on the next case, whatever is decided then, because it's a civil case, that will be final. Because there will be no new evidence that can be provided to mitigate a different situation. Unless amekuwa hospitalized na physically haina kutoa vitu. So at that point, the sheriff can come and lock the door to make sure no one stays. Alafu landlord anaweza fanya kitu inaitwa public auction ya hizo vitu, but now lazima enda chukua tena ruhusa kwa koti.
Buskia, now that's another fucking lie. Guys, I've always said people need to read before they give opinions. There is no landlord that auctions a renter's property. It doesn't happen that way. The process of eviction is simple. If you've been evicted, the sheriff will come and put a lock on your door. If you are not able to remove all your stuff, because evictions don't happen in 24 hours. Evictions are done within 30 or 20 days. You are given a notice of eviction. That notice is put on your door. You are given time to remove your stuff so that you remove everything. If within that time period you are not able to remove your stuff for whatever reason, you as a tenant have a right to request the court to give you more time, or you can negotiate with your landlord so you can remove your things. There is no landlord that take your stuff to go and auction. That is a fucking lie. It doesn't happen. You're given days to remove your things. That is what usually happens. And the sheriff, when they come to your place for an eviction, they simply come and put a lock on your door. And it happens when the landlord is there. The landlord must be present when the sheriff is there. Sawa sawa. So that's another lie that you came to lie on that platform. And that's the reason why I was talking about it. Okay? So Jimmy Bazu, another one mwenye anafaa kwenda kujifuck himself, mjinga.
Huyu nani tena?
Another fucking dog that
Dana mute watu, unaweza wablock.
Aenda akamasaji mbora yake huko. It's another one.
Guys, tulieni. If you are a man with just ego and nothing to show us, tulia.
So before you are evicted, you are given a notice, and the notice is out there for you, and it gives you time for you to remove your stuff in the house. There is no landlord that can come and just remove your things, okay? Angalia kitu unaeka California. We are in Pennsylvania. Please.
Including.
Go, please, just let me finish. You can mute. When it's time for you to talk, you can talk. Tuendelee. Now, and another thing you need to know, when it comes to evictions, each and every eviction case is different. There are many reasons why people are evicted. People can evicted for non-payment of rent, and it's different from my case. I am the one who withheld rent, and I held rent because of inhabitable conditions. So you can't come and say, Ati, the reason why somebody is being evicted is the same as the baby or Pala or Mufasa. People get to go to court for evictions for different reasons. Some people are evicted because neighbors are complaining they are noisy. Some people are evicted because they are not paying rent. Some people are evicted because they are not agreeing to respecting the community, HOD or something like that. You understand? And landlords can go to court to evict you if you have overstayed your lease, or they feel that they don't need to have you in their property anymore. And as a tenant, I am legally required to withhold rent from a landlord if the landlord is not repairing and doing the rightful things that they're supposed to do per the lease in my house. So by law, I withheld rent and reported my landlord to the township council that inspects houses, and it's the town council that gave me a report that I went with to court. That is why you're seeing I'm still in this house, because the town council knows that the house is not in habitable conditions, and the landlord has been given an opportunity to repair the home while I am in it. And therefore, during that period, I am allowed to pay the rent to court in something called escrow. That is what the law requires, because the judge does not want you to have contact with the landlord while you are in court. So you pay the rent in escrow. Sio mambo na kukuja kusema hapa ati mtu anakuwa evicted na hauelewi ni nini anasema. Tuendelee na hiyo recording.
Kuitisha permit ya ku-auction vitu zake in that situation. Hopefully that sheds some light on the legalities. Nimesaidia hapo.
Yes, she won.
Nimesaidia hapo.
Yes, she won.
Yes, she won round 2.
Yes,
round
that's
two.
what
But you have to add round 2 because kesi ina round moja, ina round 2. So she won which round?
Hebu sikieni majudges wenye wanajua kesi iko na round 1 na 2. These motherfuckers don't even know that this case has not begun. The first hearing of this case is going to be on the 17th of February. Imagine they don't even know. This is when I'm now going to be given an opportunity to present my case and the evidence I have against my landlord about habitability. These bitches have no idea that that's what's happening. They are here round 1, round 2, round 3. Does not make sense. At you had the opportunity to look for a better house. No.
Yeah, wacha nimjibu. Don King, jidinya na uende ujibake huko kando. Wacha nikusaidia. I'll mute you for the rest of the live. If you have anything relevant to say, come and be respectful with your main account. Fuck you.
Okay. So, this case, the main case is now just it's only just beginning. This is now we are going to have the main case because now we are at the appeals court. We are not in the lower courts anymore. So now the landlord has a right before we begin the case to the hearing date. He has a right to file anything. He has a right to ask for a judgment. He has a right to even try to cancel my stay because he's trying to do anything possible legally so that he can get reprieve on his side. Then I have a right to respond to anything he files. These are normal court procedures. But the hearing date for our preliminary is the 17th. And it's important that now the landlord presents his case and I present my case, and then now we go into a full hearing about habitability. That is the whole process of this. So, wacha niendeleze recording usikie.
Round the appeal she won. Yes. Round ya kwanza she lost. I will be on the same page now. Round 1 she lost, round 2 she won. Round 3 is upcoming, which will most likely be the ultimate. So she
at round 1 she lost, round 2 she won. There is nothing like lose or win. We are getting into a hearing at the appeals. The landlord tried to evict me. The court disagreed. And the court asked me to give reasons why we should go into an appeal. And I gave reasons with evidence plus documents from my county. Now we are getting into a hearing. So there is no win or lose, my friend. There is nothing like that. We are getting into a hearing where both of us can now present our case. My main reason for reporting the landlord to the county was the house was not having habitable conditions. That was it. So now I'm going to have an opportunity to present my case. There's no round 1 or 2. Nothing like that.
won the penultimate, but the ultimate is coming. So that one we will just stay tuned and find out what really happened.
Furnished house. It was a
Sikia huyo Dwanzi eti it was a furnished house. Gosh.
furnished house.
Kama ni furnished house na ni landlord, then she can only, they're going to take her belongings, personal belongings, whatever ameleta. So nguo, sufuria, mwiko ya kupika ugali, ile ya samosa na chapati, hizo watazichukua waziweke mahali kando. Alafu viti, shots fired. Mimi nasema tu ndio atie leo, so tie kama leo. Mimi I'm not firing any shots. Me, I never fire shots on anyone who's having a hard time.
Is it legal to?
Well, so here's the thing. There's nothing about is it legal to live. Yes, it's legal. You can live in a house with mold legally.
Ebuya, that's another lie. Si alikuwa anakataa ati hakusema hiyo. Ati anasema ati you can live in a house with mold legally. Ati it is legal. You can legally live in a house with mold. Where does that even happen, honestly? Those are the things that I was trying to tell you here when I came to explain that this man was lying on a platform. You cannot legally. I hope you heard that part of the recording, Sialo. Pale anasema ati you can legally stay in a house.
You want me to respond to that part?
No, you don't. When time it is right, it's right, you can respond. Ati you can legally stay in a house with mold.
But is it a smart move? There's something about legal and educated move or a smart move. Is it legal to keep your feet in the water for a year? Yes, it's legal. There's no law that says you cannot do that. But is it smart to have your feet in the water for a whole year?
The apartment was not habitable.
So that's another situation.
The city wanted to allow that residents in that apartment.
Yes. So if the apartment is inhabitable due to mold or asbestos, and asbestos is a big thing here in the US, especially for houses built in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, before all these environmental laws were passed, technically, a judge can say, even if, like it's such a point, so even if unakaa kwenye kuna mold, for example, and you're being evicted, you can plead with the judge and say, Judge, this house, I'm being evicted right now because I tried to have this landlord fix mold. Now, there are laws that protect tenants. For example, there is a law that clearly states that if you are a tenant, you are entitled to leave.
Landlord amekupatia nyumba kama iko na mold, and then kuna kitu msema ati, I know that was just an example, ati upewe nyumba kama mlango imevunjika. So those are the things that you are supposed to check.
Huyo Bunwasi yako kwa Dula anaongea ni anaitwa nani? Karina. Karina ama ni nani?
Kulingana na hiyo screenshot ni Karina ndio alikuwa.
Karina, block me before you come back to my live and go post nonsense on that live. Dula, block that motherfucker before kuja hapa ili akupe information, because I'm gonna block both of you. No offense. Anyway,
kwanza nimetumiwa mpaka na nini huo Karina venye anakaa tu mtoto, but I don't know why, whatever. So mimi kama caretaker, as I'm sitting here, I'm taking care of caretaker.
Mnapenda kubeba maomena juu. Simwache tu omena ikwe kwa neti huko chini pali nafaa kubwa.
By the way,
what's wrong with you people? Mnapendanga kubeba maomena juu, omena juu mwele
wache koma.
Hai. Wache ndio omena zikauke chini kwa net bwana. What's wrong with you? Mnabebana na maomena, mnabeba omena, mna elevate omena. Hayo elevate omena.
Tumeachana na omena Karina.
Hata wacha omena ikae huko chini surely. Hata mtu mwenye unamuelevate unampatia, hata unafanya hata anapata followers wawili wenye ufai kuwapatia.
Point done with that topic. Let's move on.
Wacha hata kuita jina ya omena. Just
yeah.
By the way, okay, we've moved on. We've actually helped each other to understand some things, but unajua kitu funny?
Let me make a quick statement. Just a quick.
The funny, before Zamunda, before you make your statement, the funny thing is most of us do not understand what goes on behind the scenes in the US. Wengi wetu tulikuja when I came in. I came in before Zamunda. I came in before Diana Rose. No, okay, no, that is totally wrong.
Yeah,
I came in
wrong.
after they came to the US. I came in when they were already veterans of this country. I came in after they were already veterans of this country. So whatever it is, opinions they would give is their own experiences of different situations in time frame of when they came in. Mimi naweza kuwa nimekuja 2021. Yes, me, I came in after COVID. You motherfuckers that feel like I came to the US in 2020. No, okay, first of all, 2020 ni juzi. Like, you feel like I was here for like 50 years before 2020. You're very wrong. Nimekuja hapa after 2020, so I have no experience. Hata sijafikisha miaka 5. Hiyo 5 peke yake yenye mtu anafaa qualify kuwa citizen. Sijafikisha. But the point is, be respectful. People in different situations live in different zones. People live in different I do have friends who live in Manhattan. Manhattan is literally downtown New York. Those are different rules, different kind of, tuseme, see education level inakupeleka kuwa smart kwa hizi regions. It is how smart you are in the streets that's gonna make you excel in these countries. It's how smart you are in the streets that's gonna make you excel in these countries. Nothing about you getting an A in high school back in Kenya High. It's not how smart you are in, I don't know what school, Maseno, that's gonna make you excel in this world. It's how smart you are up here when it comes to managing your movement around the streets. And that means interacting with people. Yes, you can feel that you are top of the notch when giving opinions, but guess what? Your opinions are actually shit and below everybody else's in reality if you don't mean shit to anybody. And I mean, you cannot be here claiming you're top of the world, meanwhile you don't even know let me not hurt your feelings. Because there was a winter polo event in Sicily that most of you didn't even know existed. But you're on TikTok running your mouths. And you think you're smart upstairs. Baby, if you don't know what the fuck that was.
They didn't know. They were like,
you don't know what the fuck that was.
There's no storm that's happening in Akame. They even say that in Akame evictiwa. Ndio maana amesema anaenda kuishi kwa hospitali.
You're busy focusing on Diana Rose. Why did you not know what the fuck was happening in Sicily? Shut the fuck up.
You know, that's a very powerful statement, Cielo. I wish people who are watching listen to you. I mean, and that's the problem. You know, there's a bunch of people out here who, you know, act like they know it all. A friend of mine kind of broke it down. He's a communication specialist. He has 4 categories of it. So the first one, he calls it unconscious incompetence. You know, you're stupid and you don't know that you're stupid.
And you think,
right? Or you're misinformed. You don't, yeah. And then the next phase is conscious incompetence. You know, at least people who know that they're stupid or they are misinformed.
But
those are people on the right path.
But they think
because those are people who will start working on learning,
let me learn
listening more.
It's good. Unconscious But do you know, when you say it's unconscious incompetence, you're giving them a leeway. No, don't. You're giving them a leeway. Replace it with something. These are idiots. Imagine someone in Kenya analyzing the rent of someone in America.
Let me ask a very quick question. Rate, hold on. How many of you know what polo winter event was happening in Sicily?
I did
You
not.
have 5 minutes. Let me give it 5 minutes for people to tell us what event was happening.
Me, I'm not going to answer because for Tiela will say Nyamaza. Wacha ni Nyamaza.
Nyamaza. Rateng, shut up. Zamunda, shut up. Zibaby, shut up. Shiluna, shut up. What polo event was actually happening in Sicily?
Shut the
fuck up. Kwanza ulikuwa winter event. Tulikutana kwa winter event. Shh. Mwenye ataniambia nitam gift.
Fair for you to even ask that question. Please be kind.
So the Zoomers,
who are you asking?
The Zoomers who are actually zooming my life.
These people don't know the names of their women reps. What's wrong with you?
It's not Winter Olympics. It's not Winter Olympics.
They don't know the name of their women rep. Now you're asking them about Apollo event in Sicily. What is wrong with you?
Do they even know polo?
They don't know the name of their women rep. They don't know the name of their deputy governor. These people don't know the allocation of money they're getting each financial year for their county. And you are stretching it so far to take them to Sicily. Come on.
Wewe unauliza watu mambo ya polo na wanajua polo jacket.
Kuna mtu amesema, hold on, let me scroll up. Amesema
I was going exploring this.
Was it Winter Olympics? No.
Oh my God.
So no. Nakwambia, Cielo, if you sit in this platform with people, even those ones that are so hating so much, and you get to them to a topic for you to talk about that is actually in Kenya now. You are talking about Kenyan issues. If you talk to them today about what is happening in Kenya, they don't know. I swear we are out here in the diaspora, we know so much about Kenya more than the Kenyans that are analyzing us. They don't know anything about what's going on in Kenya. They have no idea what is going on in their own country. So now you are taking them to Sicily. Cialo, please stop. No. Stop doing that. Just don't ask that. Achana nayo. You are stretching it too far. Achana nayo. These are people who will come on a live and say that Cialo does not have a car and Cialo lives in New York.
I know Cialo lives in
sasa
passenger princess lives in New York.
Mtu kama huyo unataka kuargue naye aje? Mimi nakuuliza, how do you argue with this person while billionaires are taking trains in New York? Billionaires are taking subways.
Tuko America tumeona watu wengi hata wenye wameenda juzi wameshadunua gari.
Yeah, like they think ati
like Rateng, what is owning a car? What is a car?
Yeah, sasa
I know.
Kama Joe Biden mwenye ni president
I can own
wa America,
a car and still have a driver.
Wacha nikwambie, Joe Biden,
I can own the most expensive car and have a driver.
Joe Biden, the president wa America alikuwa anachukua train kwenda Delaware. Lakini a Kenyan will sit down to analyze hauna gari. Guys, this platform imenionyesha vitu sijawahi kuona mimi. I think this is the platform I've been to all platforms of social media, but hii ya TikTok nimeona vitu sijawahi kuona. Yani kuna watu wanakuongelelea, unasikia tu, unascroll, unasikia vitu wanasema, unasikia uchukue ngumi ukawapige ama yani sometimes I listen to people's opinion here and I just I'm like you feel nauseated, unataka kutapika. Yani uduanzi yenye iko kwa hii platform hauamini. And it's just because they don't read, they don't educate themselves. Hawaendi huko kusoma. They don't. So people need to understand what is happening everywhere, and also before you get into an argument or you want to analyze something, get your facts right. It's important. So usikue unachemkia maneno ya watu na hauelewi vile vitu ziko. Just don't do it. Cause haitakusaidia. Unapata mavichwa pomblo zimekaa ati alipe rent yake, alipe rent.
Watu wakikaa chini wakianalyze rental status yako. Si tuko hapa tunaangalia, sisi ati tunaangalia. Si tuko hapa tuna enjoy another luxury type of life.
Yeah, una argue about somebody's rent, a person that has managed to take a landlord to court and is in the appeals court. Standing myself, Mimi as Diana Ross, arguing my case in front of people as Diana Ross. And I managed to convince judge by myself, something you cannot do. Nyinyi mkipelekwa kotini hapa America msimame uongee na judge. Can you do it? Can you argue your case? Can you go through the process? Can you talk to the counties and you get a report and your house inspected and you go with it to court? Can you? And I did that without a fucking lawyer. Just with what I have read about the laws in Pennsylvania. And you're still sitting on a platform. Ati unani analyze. Bwana, stop analyzing a woman that is fucking brilliant and knows what to do when it comes to the law. And then mtafute tissue mpanguze matako bwana. Just don't sit down and talk. You know me, sometimes I listen to these bitches and I'm like, these people have no fucking idea what my life is all about. Shit. Bwana, me I'm here. I'm a single parent in America. I'm paying rent $1,900 and taking 2 kids in college. Can you do that?
Of course.
Are your kids in college?
Guess what? One of the kids was actually in Harvard.
Ati ako pale wanani analyze jinga.
No offense, but kuna mtu amesema ngoja. Cialo, please tell me what the event was about. All right. The event was actually in Italy. It's called it was in St. Moritz. It was a winter pole event, and basically it was
huyu Kenyan American kama ongei asitulete Anatuanzia hapa hivi platform ya nini kama hataki kuongea? Mumpeleke huko Shakahola kama hataki kuongea. Ai?
Kenyan American is pulling an ati on us.
Ai, atoka kwa sababu anataka kukuwa careful. Ataki eti damu ikimwagika isimguse. Ai.
Mwenye anataka kujua sana, enda Google St. Moritz. Ama uende tu TikTok ama hata uende YouTube, no TikTok ama YouTube, no Instagram ama YouTube. St. Moritz.
Lakini siala hata wewe acha nikuli. Kwani unawataka wa Google vitu kama hizo? Mbona usipatiane challenge ya kujua kama ule msichana mwenye alioneshwa matako suruali, kesi imefika wapi? Hizo kwa nini avai suruali? Those are the things Kenyans have. Those are the updates they have.
Because I'm not in the same mental capacity as them.
Hizo ndio updates wa Kenya
mimi ninafikiria winter event watu wanaongelelea kutoana suruali.
Hiyo ndio update. Ukiwauliza sahi upande yako wapi? Ukiuliza story ya upande, basi hiyo utapata, hiyo ndio maswali unafaa kuuliza.
Okay, fine.
Ukiwauliza upande yako wapi ama ule demu wa upande, basi utapata majibu hapa chini.
Babe, wacha tuweke hivi. Wenye wanataka kujua Kenya tunafikiria sahi. When it comes to winter events, we are talking about winter polo events. Look at St. Moritz. If you cannot relate, enda uangalie stories za upande. Otherwise, we are not in the same class. Wacha tuachane na hivyo.
Hapo sasa we are in the same place. Hapo sasa you are making a good
Me, I cannot relate with anybody who's thinking about
sasa hapo
talking about winter.
Unaona vile wananiambia kumbe di unatujua, unaona? Wanatujibu hapo chini, hizo ndio sasa story nzuri. Unaona? Let me tell you, and no offense, I tell you, when you sit in conversations with people from other countries on TikTok, you get to learn where we are as Kenyans on this platform. It's really actually.
Yeah, Eurocamps, that was the winter polo event. It actually happens every year. You should actually be aware of it. It's another category of events that happen around the world during winter. That should not even be like iko class yake.
But those in the rich people events, sasa wewe, people are here arguing about.
What is it to go for rich people events?
Na sasa wewe, lakini wewe naona unapotea jamani. How can you discuss issues about rich people in a platform where people come to con people $30? Hapo ya mtu anakuja kukudanganya.
Because I still have Polate. No, I have Rateng over here. Bado anaenda kwa winter.
By the way, hey, Pala, we were supposed to come to your place. What happened?
I met Rateng on a winter event.
Well, you guys have already met. Chekesha. We Pala, ulienda kukutana na Sialo nyuma yangu.
We wacha mambo yako.
Hapana, spendi maneno. I don't like what I'm hearing. You were supposed to go to Seattle. Ebu Seattle you plan to fike huko.
Alafu kuna Mkenya anasema, those are things that happen in Kim Kardashian. Sijui kina nani live. My friend, kuna Wakenya wanafanya hizi vitu na mjui kwa sababu nyinyi wajinga.
That's why saa zingine like kuna Wakenya wako na potential sana wenye either hata wako home mama wako hapa, but they can't progress. Juu mtu kisha kuwa wewe ni unconsciously incompetent, yani wewe ni mjinga na ujui, mtu kama huyo huwezi msaidia. Like you could have like really good information, like for example hiyo issue ya Diana, would be asking her questions like, will you counter sue, or how was the process like, how do you do this, how do you do, so that maybe mtu mwingine can apply the same, right? Lakini hawa Kenya wetu like mtu ajui na hataki kujua na anagi na wewe ni kama anajua kukuliko. Some of us nowadays unanyamaza tu, you just hatuna nguvu ya kuargue.
Mimi wa Kenya nimewaachia, nasikia wanaabudu Jesus, nimewaachia huyo Jesus wao. Let them deal with it. Maybe if you want to, I've realized by the way, most of the time if I want to have any constructive argument, there are specific platforms I go to. I think there are only two, maybe this one and another one. But the idea of just having something constructive with Kenyans on a platform, hiyo ni far-fetched. Far-fetched.
Imechosha. Unajua juzi nimetopotea TikTok, 1 week later I'm coming. Do you know Maina Mal is sidhani mnyi mnaweza mjua. She's one of the Kenyan TikTokers I followed. All we were very close friends before I moved to the US. I saw a video and she was talking about how somebody sat down and said, oh, Jesus was patriarchal, and because Jesus was supportive of women.
So thank you so much for watching the video to the end. Remember to like, share, comment, and if you have not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe and put on the notification bell so that you know every time I post a new video. So guys, thank you. I'm gonna see you on my next video. Bye.